Hey, everybody, it is Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with day two of our NFL preview. Taking a look at the Sunday games. Scott, should be a little interesting action here. Got, as with the Saturday games, a couple games I like, a couple games I don't know. There's about 1.5 on each side. About 1.5 of these games I'm really excited about watching. Of course, it's the playoffs, so you never know which one's going to turn into a dog and which one's going to turn into an actual good game.
Well, that's the thing about both days on the card is that you look at the Saturday card and the Sunday card, and the betting spreads are kind of similar. You have one game that's supposed to be close and two games that are supposed to be a bit lopsided. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you've really got a small, medium, and large. You got a small spread, you got a medium spread, you got a large spread, pretty much.
Same with both days.
On both days, right? So let's start off with what I think is going to be probably the best game of the day. I really wish it was going to be the nightcap. I mean, I'm going to be watching it either way, obviously.
Yeah, but the Browns-Steelers game is a division rivalry, so you got to put it on. No, give me the Baltimore game.
Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. You'll have a sweet Tennessee Titans.
Assuming we both agree this is going to be an absolute defensive slugfest, right?
Yeah. They'll be lucky to break 30.
That was sarcasm, by the way.
As far as the total goes. The Tennessee Titans, Scott, they are playing. We talked a little bit about it before the show.
I said it was the worst defense I've ever seen from a playoff team.
Yeah, they're historically bad. Only having a sack day on the last day of the season kept them from recording the fewest number of sacks in NFL history.
That defense is actually awful. And I know that some people might say, well, yeah, they still have Tannehill, they still have A.J. Brown, they still have Derrick Henry, of course.
Yeah.
This defense, the word useless comes to mind. And I don't even think I'm being harsh. They're giving up, I mean, they go into every game and you assume they're going to give up 30.
Mm-hmm.
It's just painful to watch.
Yeah, they've played they've played, basically any team with a pulse as far as offense goes is put up at least 24, 25 points. And I'm talking about like Detroit, put up 25 on them.
Even Cincinnati put up 30 against them.
31 is Cincinnati, correct? Now this teams did play back right before Thanksgiving. Baltimore ended up winning that one. Tennessee ended up winning that one 30-24, going over the total of 50.5, and that was a game where Tennessee was actually a 6-point dog. Sound familiar?
Oh, kind of. Not in this one because Tennessee's only a 3-point dog, but
they're a 3-point dog right now.
It's another deja vu to last year because, of course, we all know that Baltimore came off the bye and they got absolutely smacked at home against Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a revenge or whatever you want to call it because that hasn't helped Lamar in his playoff career so far. Do you think Lamar finally gets off the schneid and wins a playoff game?
The fact that he is not throwing the ball.
That's the problem about Tennessee's defense because their pass defense is so bad, but Baltimore still can't throw.
Does that bother you? That Baltimore, they're not. What is he? He's passed for 250 yards. Once this season?
Something like that. It's not ideal, but Baltimore. I know they played Cincinnati last game. They ran for over 400 yards. Baltimore's offense has just kicked it into another gear. Now, the caveat is kind of what I said about Brady in the previous video. The strength of schedule over the last month has been non-existent.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. They ran for 249 yards against the Giants.
The Giants have a good run defense.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have, and they averaged 6.2 yards running against the Giants. They ran for over 7 yards a carry against Cleveland, which, again, another team with a decent rush defense.
Mm-hmm. So my question for you for this matchup, I'm personally going to lean to Baltimore because I can't back this Titans defense. I can't do it. But my main question for you is there any chance you can even consider an under in this game? Because I can't.
Well, again, I've got a premium on this as far as the total goes, but
fair enough.
It's going to be challenging for the defenses, Scott.
Okay, so without giving away what your premium is, of course, Do you think this line closes closer to 56 or closer to 52? I got to assume 56. It's at 54.5 right now. It might not even move that much. I'm expecting more over money.
I don't think it goes to 56, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 55, 55 and a half.
I don't think it's going to go to 56 either. I kind of just meant talking about where you think over or under money's going to come in on. I don't see where
it's the playoffs, Scott. It's the first game of the playoffs on Sunday. It's Donk City. It's Square City.
All over money. So.
You know, all the over money is coming in.
Yep.
And the favorite money has been coming in as well. Like I said, Bet Online still has it at -3, -125. So you know that's not going to last. That's going to 3.5 before the day's out.
One more question, by the way, if you actually like Tennessee in this matchup. I know that he made both kicks and the other one doinked in. Do you trust Sloman at all? I don't. I watched him kick when he was with the Rams. I don't think he's very good. On the other side, you have Justin Tucker, who in my opinion is the best kicker of all time.
Yeah, that's and you really, normally there's going to be.
People don't talk enough about special teams.
There's normally a dispute about when somebody says the best kicker of all time. That's hard to argue with. It really is, and
I like Vinatieri for the clutch factor, but
I like to tell you why you're wrong. So
I was going to say that's the only argument people have, and the argument there is, well, of course Tucker's been to one Super Bowl, so he has less volume, but in terms of consistency, guys just money in the bank.
Yeah, I don't care about. I mean, I'm not going to blame the kicker because they haven't made a Super Bowl.
Or the fact that they haven't been tied in a Super Bowl or down one with 10 seconds to go. It's also intense. But Tucker's the best kicker I've ever seen. It's really not even close. The guy's a damn cyborg. I think Sloman is just not a great kicker. I think you'll agree with that. But there's a reason why he's been on multiple teams.
I'm gonna go the other way, Scott. I'm gonna take Tennessee here.
That makes sense too, based on how they've played against Baltimore in the past.
I like the fact that Henry is just getting better every week.
He's so damn good.
And this is a Tennessee team that obviously knows how to take care of business against Baltimore.
I can't even compare Derrick Henry to anybody. Earl Campbell? Like I don't even know.
Yeah, he's
Jamal Lewis for like 3 years or so, 2 years.
Yeah, Earl Campbell was still a more powerful runner, but Derrick Henry.
I don't want to say Priest Holmes. Like I don't know who I'm going to talk about.
Derrick Henry's faster.
Sean Alexander 1 year maybe. Like I don't even know. Sean Alexander perhaps.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone really has the brute strength besides Campbell.
No. I mean AP early in his career, but again, not necessarily as much of a bruiser. Nobody.
I'm not comparing him to Jerome Bettis. Like I don't know who I'm going to consider.
No, he's faster than Jerome Bettis, without question.
Like Dickerson?
No,
I don't think Dickerson's a good comp either.
No, there really isn't one.
I think Campbell, I guess, is the best one I could.
Campbell's as close as you're going to get, and he was just a little bit more of a bruiser than Henry, and just not quite as fast. But yeah, that's the same style. The same kind of guy that runs between the tackles and could break one at any time. So, I'm going to take Tennessee again. Show me this Baltimore team is better. Blah blah blah. They're running the football. Tennessee's defense is terrible. Okay,
no, you're daring Lamar to do something.
I'm daring Lamar to do something. I stack the box. Put eight in the box and just dare Lamar to beat me with his arm.
That's fair. I'm assuming we're in agreement, though, that this game – I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think this game will be close, but I just think Baltimore will do enough in order to win the game by about a touchdown. Well, I just can't look at this Tennessee defense in the eye and take it seriously. I just can't do it.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Moving on. Middle game.
Yeah, Trubisky. Yeah, he's in the playoffs again. Let's go.
Battle of future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Mitchell Trubisky goes against Drew Brees. Saints are 10-point favorite here, Scott. 10 points. 47 is the total. That's the biggest spread of the weekend. What do you got here?
That's the issue. You got New Orleans, who's laying a big number against a Chicago team that probably shouldn't even be here because they're an 500 football team. Can I trust the Saints laying 10 after they've choked away so many playoff games over the last 4 years? That's the real question. Probably not. I don't think Chicago's defense is very good. I know their offense has been better lately. Also, very easy schedule. They beat the likes of Houston, beat the likes of – actually, they lost to Detroit. But they put up good numbers. Truth is, I kind of like the under. I know it's a random pick, but the over-under in a dome is at 47.5 or so. I'm assuming Trubisky's going to do something stupid. I know New Orleans' defense has been pretty good so far this season. And Breeze has turned into Captain Checkdown. So, especially with Kamara, who's projected to play, we looked it up before. He's apparently going to be cleared on Sunday right before game time, so I'm not sure what shape he'll be in. I'm sure he'll be fine. It's not going to be that long of a layoff for him. But I like the under. Would it shock you if Trubisky just has an absolute dud? No. Would it shock you if Breeze also has a dud where he throws like one touchdown pass and like 250 yards on checkdowns? No. So I like the under.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I do have the premium on the side, so I'll talk about, or on the total, so I'll talk about the side a little bit. I like this Bears defense, Scott. I think they're going to give Breeze enough of a problem. I expect the Saints to win. I expect the Bears to cover. I like the 10 points. You know what? Give me double digits in a playoff game just about any time.
That's fair.
And I'll take the underachieving Bears right here. So closing it up, Scott, with our headline matchup of Sunday. It's the Browns and Steelers. Steelers minus 647 is the total. This is obviously their division foes. This is the third time they've met so far this year, and it's been an interesting battle so far this season as they just finished up a game that really means absolutely nothing. Could anything have meant less than that last game they played?
For Pittsburgh, no. For Cleveland, they made the playoffs.
But I mean, as far as getting a read on what's going to happen,
meant literally nothing.
With
the exception, if you want to make the argument that Pittsburgh's defense still looked pretty good, even though it was missing a couple of key pieces there.
Right, and the Browns were able to just win by 2 without facing hardly any starters on the offensive side for the.
Well, the receivers were there, but it was just Rudolph instead of Roethlisberger.
Well, and that makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah, definitely does.
When these two teams were at full strength back in October,
Pittsburgh killed them.
38-7. So, my play here is going to be on the side. But as far as the total goes, I'm leaning under in this one. I just I like this Browns defense has been good. Of course, Baker's been good over the last part of the season, but I think Pittsburgh. The problem for me is Cleveland run game is slowed down a little bit. Now they were decent against Pittsburgh last week, but before that they had not. They averaged 3.5 yards or less in 3 of their last 4. Any ideas what's happened to this vaunted dual-headed threat as far as the Cleveland Browns rushing attack goes?
Well, I think people just started stacking the box more Derry Mayfield to beat them. I know that's what the Jets did because Cleveland had no receivers. Everyone had COVID or was on the protocol, so they literally had practice squad receivers all over the place. So that was the main reason why they struggled against the Jets. Against Pittsburgh last week, they looked good, but once again, T.J. Watt didn't play. So if Pittsburgh's missing some key members on the defensive line, of course, they're going to look better than they, you know what I mean. But for the most part here, line has moved a lot. It's gone from 3.5 to 6 for Pittsburgh, mostly because of COVID news. Cleveland's going to be without their head coach and Stefanski. They're going to be without one of their best offensive linemen. And
they also haven't practiced all week.
Yep, they haven't practiced all week. They're going to be without their head coach. They're also going to be without one of their best offensive linemen, who in Bitonio, who's going to be out, which definitely hurts. Also going to be without Olivier Vernon on the defensive line because he has an Achilles injury. Really not a fun time. Pittsburgh, I know that they stumbled to the finish line, This team just lost by 2 to Cleveland in a must-win game for Cleveland, and now Cleveland's with no head coach and a banged-up offensive line. I'm not happy about it, but I got to take Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I have to. Pittsburgh's dominated Cleveland so frequently over the last, I don't even know how many years, and now Cleveland in their first playoff game in what feels like about 90 years. They have no head coach, the short-handed offensive line, and 2 of the players got tickets for drag racing about 3 days ago. So I don't exactly think Cleveland's fully mentally there for this one. I'll take Pittsburgh.
The drag racing at 10 in the morning, by the way.
Bunch of morons. I mean, then again, you got to catch the early bird special at IHOP, so you got to get the discounted pancakes.
I figured they were trying to get to McDonald's before 10:30.
That works too for the breakfast menu.
Yeah, exactly.
You think that's a good alibi to get out of a speeding ticket in a drag race?
Depends on how much the cop likes McDonald's.
That is true. It's a good point.
It gets a strong possibility.
Good point. But yeah, there's just so many distractions going on for Cleveland. I can't take Cleveland here.
Who's your favorite fast food breakfast, Scott?
Oh, it's a good question, actually. Not Denny's, even though I've heard good things. But...
No, I'm talking about drive-through. Somebody with a drive-through. Who do you like?
Oh, a drive-through.
Yeah, fast food.
I mean, I was going to say IHOP, but that's not a drive-through, so that doesn't count. It's a good question, actually.
McDonald's guy, you guys got Hardee's there? You guys got Hardee's?
No, I don't have Hardee's over here.
No Hardee's in New York?
No.
Carl's Jr.?
No. Well, that's what Hardee's is, isn't it?
They're the same. It just depends on where you are.
No, I know it's the same. I'm just saying, you said Carl's. I said no, so then why'd you say Hardee's Jr.? You knew my answer was going to be no.
I said Hardee's or Carl's Jr. I didn't know if you had either one of them.
Yeah, we got 0.
They're the best breakfast, by the way. So
I'll take your word for it, but I don't have that option.
Good enough. What about the total in this one?
For the total, I'm actually going to lean to the over. Okay. I know it sounds controversial because I just talked about all the reasons why Cleveland should be an under, but Pittsburgh historically has been ridiculous to the over in their first game in January. I forgot the exact number. I heard it on the VSiN Follow the Money show the other day. I want to say that Pittsburgh's like 15-1-1 to the over in their last 17 January games or something. It's something absurd. And there has been some money on the over as well. I think you're giving Cleveland's defense too much credit. I've been against this Cleveland defense for a long time. I've said it numerous times on the show. I think their numbers are inflated because of a couple of really bad weather games. I don't like this Cleveland defense at all. So for that reason, I'll lean to the over. All
right, good enough. I'll fade you on that.
I know you will. I'm just saying that I'm not going to play the total. I like Pittsburgh though, but I'm not going to. If I had to lean to the side, I'll lean to the over.
Okay. All right, good enough. Any final thoughts on this NFL card?
Not really. I'm just hoping for some competitive games. This could be one of those weekends where the favorites just absolutely maul everybody, and it's going to be pretty anticlimactic, and it really wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. Hopefully the games are close. I know the last couple of years we've had a decent amount of wild card success for wild card teams to pull off some upsets. So we'll see what's in the cards here, and hopefully it leads to a pretty entertaining next couple of weeks in the NFL.
I agree. All right, very good. All right, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in today. As always, if you're looking for more information on these games or any other games, don't forget to stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis. You will not find better breakdowns of these games anywhere at all. So make sure you stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com. And make sure you drop us a note in the comment section. Let us know what you're playing today. Let us know what you got going on. Of course, as always, we'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. And I guess that's going to do it for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners. Appreciate you watching. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket this weekend turns into cash money back at the window. You guys take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.